Alright guys, welcome back. We have the leaks, finally the announcement for the next pack coming on Friday, and this is actually a big one, way bigger than I expected. I am surprised. I was expecting the Artmage stuff that we are getting right here, and also the Apophis stuff, but we are also getting Dracotail, the entire Dracotail stuff, or I guess the entire Dracotail stuff. Obviously, we don't know whether we will get all the support cards. I will talk about the Dracotail cards and also the Artmage cards in a second here, more in detail, but yeah, what do we have here? All of them are fusion monsters, and all of them are actually good. We have the Artmage Directoros, which is part of this new Medius the Pure archetype. You need Medius the Pure to make him an Artmage monster. You can target one monster on the field, change its battle position, and when your opponent activates a card or effect on the field, if you have 3 or more different monster types on your field, then you can quick effect negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And if the fusion summon card is destroyed, you can special summon one Medius the Pure. So all of these new Artmage cards have this effect that if there are 3 or more different types on the field, they have a special effect, most likely an interruption, and this is one of your end board pieces, which is just in the field omni negate. But then you also have the Nerva, the power patron of creation, and this whole power patron thing here. This is part of the Artmage archetype. Basically, there will be multiple power patrons that, for example, I'm blanking on the name, the Medius the Pure can search out, and these power patrons can fusion summon. For example, we need 3 different Artmage monsters for our Nerva, which is our real boss monster. Must first be either fusion summoned or special summoned from your extra deck in defense position by attributing 3 monsters with different types. You can only special summon her once per turn, but you will normally make this on your opponent's turn as a last resort, basically. When a card is in the field zone, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects, which normally you will have your field spell online. Once per turn, when you activate an Artmage monster's effect, quick effect, you can make the activated effect become destroy all card your opponent controls. So you activate any Artmage effect that you already or still have available, and then you can destroy the entire field of your opponent. So very, very strong. These are the 2 end boss monsters of the Artmage archetype, and obviously we will have to see how much of the support we are getting. I'm assuming we're getting just the first wave, and then we'll get more parts over the coming months. This is my guess. And then we have Dracotail Althalion. So this is basically Dracotail's boss monster, even though it's not really a boss monster, it's more of a recursion monster. It needs 1 Dracotail monster and 1 monster in the hand to fuse. If this card is a fusion summoned, you can target monsters on the field and or graveyards up to the number of monsters used as material from the hand and return them to the hand. So you can either use this to interrupt, to bounce, but more often this is being used to just recur your own resources so that you can fusion summon again, because if you're not aware, Dracotail is this archetype that uses its fusion summon monsters, and if they are fusion summoned, they then can set Dracotail spells and traps, but we will take a look at this in a second. And then if 2 or more monsters are sent to the graveyard at the same time, so for example for a fusion summon, this could also work, while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So Dracotail Althalion is an interruption but also a recursion for your resources, and you will play him thrice. Then we have Divine Serpent Apophis, so we are getting the Apophis stuff with the new traps. We will also take a look at this in a second here. It's a very cool fusion monster because it's not really a fusion monster. It needs 2 monsters that mention Temple of the Kings, which are normally your trap cards, must be either fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing 2 Apophis monsters. Once per turn, you can target up to 3 Apophis traps with different names in your graveyard, set them. Really strong card here, because what you can do is you can use your Apophis traps, activate their effects, summon them to the field, and then you can use 2 of them to make the Divine Serpent Apophis via contact fusion from the field, and then you can reset 3 Apophis traps that you can then use on your opponent's turn. And also, once per turn, if a trap card is activated, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. This is kind of like the silhouette had a rabbit, so it's all about trap cards that interrupt the opponent, and we have this additional guy, Divine Serpent Apophis, that can also reset them, which is very strong, because obviously once you have them summoned as monster cards on the field, they are no longer as useful, so you can then reuse them via the Apophis. And the last card is more of a support card, but also a very, very good one, a very good super poly target, and this is also being played in Dracotail because this is good against Dracotail, but also and especially this is a killer card against Branded. It's Secreterion Dragon. Dragon fusion effect, 1 dragon, a monster, and 1 spellcaster monster. This card loses 100 attack for each of your banished cards. Not super relevant, but you have to keep this in mind. While you control this fusion summon card, your opponent cannot activate the effects of special summoned dragon or spellcaster monsters they control, so on the field. So this is what this does. This is basically a floodgate, and obviously against branded this is super bad because they have only basically dragons or spellcasters, besides, I don't know, the Aluba, for example. But if you just fusion summon this when your opponent activates a branded fusion, then they cannot activate their Albion, they cannot activate Lubelion. It's pretty rough. They cannot chain Cartesia because she's spellcaster. It's pretty rough. Maybe the Cartesia was normal summon, then it would work, obviously. And then you can also, and this is also a very good effect, target one dragon and one spellcaster monster in your graveyard, special summon one, and if you do, place the other on the bottom of the deck. This gives you the ability to get back some of your I don't want to play it, ignition effect. Some of your ignition effect monsters, like your Dracotail Lucaeus or your Dracotail Phyrexil, that give you then additional cards in your hand. So a very, very strong card in Dracotail, but also a card that you will just make or keep once as a very good fusion target for super polymerization. So an extremely strong pack. I'm confused as of what will be ultra rares, because there are so many cards that can be ultra rares here in all of these archetypes. I'm assuming Dracotail will be very expensive, but will also be very relevant. One of the three big new archetypes, Dracotail, Yami, and Canine, that we are getting, and they will dominate the meta for a long time, because we will get very weak archetypes after them. So they will not be replaced with very strong ones, like in the case of Malice and of Ryziel, where we now have these three new ones. And even though Dracotail seemed to be the weakest one of these three new ones at the beginning, at the moment, Dracotail is basically the most represented deck in the TCG, and also one of the two best decks besides Yami in the OCG. So in the end, it turned out that K9 was the least relevant one, and then you have Yami, which is very relevant, and also Dracotail. And we will see whether we can play this with branded together, because we can if we get one of the second support wave cards. I'm not sure whether we will get all of them. I can definitely see them only giving us the first support wave of Dracotail. This is then already very, very strong. But with the second one, it would be even better, because you can then combine it with a branded. We also already have, and this is kind of cool, the OCG showed us this, we also have the new Magistus cards, the Spoon, the Splinter, which the OCG used together with the Dracotail cards, and the TCG, it is not out in the TCG yet, but this is also an additional option that you can use with the Dracotails. We will obviously look over all of this in future upcoming videos, and we will also live stream on Friday. Let me now quickly hop on over into the database, and we will take a quick look over some of the cards. Okay, and I don't want to make this too long here. We have the Dracotail stuff, and the important question is whether we will get the Dracotail Phyrexil and the Dracotail Sting, which is second support wave. Both of them are not like killer necessary, but they are very good. So if you're not aware, you all have all of these Dracotail monsters here: Lucaeus, Phyrexil, Pan, Mululu, Lucaeus, and all of them, sorry, I mentioned Lucaeus already, F5 mana, all of them, if they are fusion summoned or being used as a fusion material, can set a Dracotail spell or trap. You have your two very strong spells, which we can't find right now because I have Apophis typed right in here, which, okay, let me quickly type in Dracotail. So we have your three traps here, being Dracotail Flame, which is a spell negate, Dracotail Horn, which is a bounce and attack position monster, and Sting, which is remove one monster and one spell trap from the graveyard. And then we also have the two spell cards, the Dracotail Fusion spell card, the Rahu Dracotail, which is basically brand fusion. You fusion summon with one of your hand monsters and one of the from deck monsters, and then you have the most insane card in the entire deck, Ketu Dracotail, which adds one Dracotail monster from your deck to your hand. And if your opponent controls a monster, you can also fusion summon one dragon or spellcaster monster from your extra deck using monsters from hand or field. A very strong board breaker here, very good card. And yeah, you will use your, for example, Dracotail 5 mana, which is doing the main phase quick effect. You can fusion summon, so you can do this on your opponent's turn. We are playing on our opponent's turn again, if we can, obviously. And then some of these, if they are being used as fusion materials, have extra effects. For example, the Pan will destroy a card on the monster on the field, a monster on the field non-targeting. The Mululu will negate one card non-targeting, and then we also have the Urgula, which will destroy a spell trap. But I will go over these cards in more detail in another video. So the interesting question is, will we get the Phyrexil and the Sting? Because Phyrexil gives us the ability to play it with branded, because it's a light spellcaster and you can use it for branded fusion. And then it can actually set one of the Dracotail cards, because all of them can, getting you into your Dracotail engine. Then we have the Artmage stuff, and you can see right here we have a lot of cards. Artmage has a few cards that are already out, and once again we have, oh my god, this is hell. Yeah, so we have Artmage stuff here, and we will get a lot more Artmage stuff in the future. This is the new Albas archetype, I would say. We have the fields by the Artmage, Academic, Arcane Arts, Acropolis. And once again, I'm not quite sure which Ultra Rares we were getting because there are so many of them here. Turmoil is one of the second waves, I think, as well as Pedigree. But you can definitely play this with the first wave. Here's the Artmage Power Pattern that I talked about that you can search with Meteos. You can then fusion summon. This deck is definitely playable with the first support wave. It has a problem with Nibiru, unfortunately. So what you will basically establish with this deck, obviously we will go into more detail, is cards like the Final, which can, if you have 3 or more different monster types, can quick effect negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls and then halve their attack points. You have the Gull Flare, which can destroy a spell trap, for example, or you have the Litera, which can bounce one of your Artmage cards back to the hand. And then you have the boss monsters that we have just talked about before. And then we get obviously the Apophis cards, the most important being the Apophis, the Serpent Apophis, and then we also get Apophis the Serpent, which Apophis the Serpent can summon the old Apophis the Swamp Deity, which is just a negate. And once again, you can just summon these on your turn and then make the Divine Serpent Apophis. We also get this new Temple of the Kings. I'm not quite sure whether it is also called Temple of the Kings. And the Man with the Mark, this is the old one actually. I'm not quite sure how the new one is called, but we get a new Temple of the Kings, which basically gives you the ability to set a continuous spell trap, getting you into your engine. You can combine this, for example, with Primite. I think this will be a very relevant deck because it doesn't really care about Maxi that much, and you can play the Dominus cards, for example, so it will be very interesting seeing how good this will be. But yeah, very, very impactful pack that we are getting out here. I hope you have saved your gems as I basically told you to. I'm actually ready with a lot of gems. For this, I definitely want to go for the Dracotail stuff. It's kind of fun, and maybe also for the Apophis stuff. I can definitely see me going for that, but we will see how expensive everything will be. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, and if you liked the video, please consider subscribing and hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell. And guys, we will see each other in the next one.